And everything was similar as far as I was concerned. As far as the flyer is concerned, it was a little different. But I understand it was a faster plane. And anyway, we get back, and I forget where we brought this plane. And then by train, we came back to Memphis. And I got a leave of absence. And while I'm on leave, the war was over. I'm in Washington, D.C., all by myself on the way home, nobody to celebrate with. So I went to the nearest bar. I couldn't even get a drink. I mean, the place was a madhouse. So I got home, and finally, and they had a block party the following night after the war had ended. And that's where I met my wife. Not this wife, I'm sorry, the first wife. And that's one of the products of that marriage. And unfortunately, my wife died a few years ago.
Well, tell me about your base in England, and what towns were you near?
My base in England was Great Ashfield. And to me, I thought it was the name of the base. You know, Ashfield. My son and I went back there, and all I knew was Elmswell. That's where the bar was, you know, and I figured that was the town. So go to Elmswell, nobody knows. There's nothing there that looked like an airfield. So there's a young couple there coming home from church, and I said, do you know where this Great Ashfield was? Yeah, that's the town right up here. That's the first time I found out a Great Ashfield was a town and not the name of the city, or the town, rather.
Did you have any contact with the local English people while you were there?
Yes, but I didn't have any, I didn't make any real friends, you know, just acquaintances at the bar for one night or another. And then London, you didn't meet anybody there. I went to shows. I like to go to musicals. I still do. I love musicals.
Did you get to spend some time? Did you get a trip to the Flack Farm?
The Flack Farm.
For the art?
Oh yes, yes, yes. We did that for a week. They gave us civilian clothes to wear, and that was about the 15th mission, I think, something like that. Yes, that was nice. It was different. That's all. It wasn't exciting.
Were you waited on hand and foot?
Yes, we did. They did that. We had a mission where they gave us pancakes, and these were like bombs. I mean, these things were, whew. I don't know how, and a lot of fellas got sick on the mission. And we got back at the briefing. They mentioned this to the debriefing. They mentioned this to the officers, you know, how they were sick on the mission, and what our colonel did was say, when my men fly, I want them to have fresh eggs. Every mission, we got fresh eggs, which was unusual there. We got those, I don't know if you ever tasted them, but powdered eggs during the war were not the powdered eggs you get today. They tasted like rotten eggs, really. That's the only way you could describe them.
How about your commanding officers? Were they supportive? Were they?
Yeah, they were. Well, I got to tell you this. Our commanding officer for the squadron, we had a thing going with him. We'd always steal his Jeep and park it in as far away from his orderly room as we could find. And this poor guy would go nuts. He'd try to find out who was doing it. Mum was the word, you know. But they were nice guys. They really were. They're very supportive.
Did you find yourself at all making friends with other crews?
Yes. In fact, one fella just died. There was a crew that we all had trained together. I trained with the radio operator, my pilot trained with the pilot, one of those things. Excuse me. And we had breakfast one day, went on a mission, and they didn't come back. They were prisoners of war for the remainder of the war. But it's funny, you know, you have breakfast with somebody one day, and we didn't know what happened to them at first. Then we got word that they were prisoners.
Was that pretty hard coming back?
That was hard. That was one of the bad things about the missions I was on.
So when you got back to your hut, had their things been moved out?
No, they weren't in our hut.
Okay.
They were in a different squadron, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But yes, in the hut, I was telling my son about, he was asking about if relatives could fly together. And I think it was a voluntary thing. Because remember the Sullivan brothers, I guess you heard of that. After they were killed, I guess if you requested and you wanted to fly with the person, they allowed it. We had a pair of twins come in one night, and they went on a mission the next day. I don't know where they trained, come to think of it. They just came in the one night, and they were killed. Both of them, the plane went down, and it's the last we heard of them. That was hard to take, too.
On the Berlin mission, did you lose a lot of planes out of your group? Do you remember?
You know, I didn't keep tabs on that, really. I was more interested in my crew, and that was it. You saw planes go down. You just hoped it wasn't you, that's all. Now, I see a thing in the movies occasionally where they show a B-17 being shot down, and the thing is going straight down. Well, I was on that mission and saw it live.